In the past year, Emmet has seen his personal portfolio grow from roughly about $1 million to over $30 million. And in this conversation, I dive into Emmet's investing approach. And more specifically, we look at the exact trades that Emmet did to grow his portfolio in such a radical way.
That's what's inspired me to move forward with the hedge fund, is this vision I have of it being more than just making money for myself. Most hedge funds have this fee structure of 2% annual management fee, 2% of the assets as a fee, and then 20% of the performance. I'm still going to charge that structure to the investors, that fee structure, but I'm putting in the prospectus of the hedge fund that half of the fees go to charity through a foundation I'm setting up, right? So, and I want to be also transparent about the foundation. Like if this takes off, I'm going to treat the foundation and the donations to charity very seriously, almost as serious or more serious than my investing decisions, And so if in 5 or 10 years, I would love if this fund was so successful that it starts a trend and inspires a whole new breed of investment managers to do something similar. I just see things differently. I see opportunities a lot of times that other people might not see. Or, if I see, something happen in the news or whatever, I might have a different take on it than most people.
How did you get into Bitcoin early on?
I just thought that it was unique and there was a need for it, and that if it caught on, if enough people bought it or got into it, if it gained like a critical mass, which it might have already had, I thought that it would just go up exponentially to become like a digital gold. People have told me I'm very good at seeing things differently, maybe because I had taken a ton of information from different sources. A lot of times sources I don't agree with, even I've taken information to consider it, and I'm skeptical of all the information I take in too, even from sources that I normally do agree with, right? What I was seeing in Iran by that time and in Italy on social media, like citizen journalism,
Mm-hmm.
I thought was serious, and that's bad, And when that type of scene comes up in some city in the United States and it's publicized in mass media in the United States, that's when I'm going to get out, because that's going to be the worst, I thought, And so sure enough, New York City gets hit hard, right? And it's sort of like that same kind of coverage is happening, and everyone's thinking the world's ending, this is terrible. And I'm like, all right, I'm getting out now, because I made 20x my return. The NASDAQ was at like 180 at that
Oh,
point.
wow.
I'd
Okay.
bought the puts for like $1.20 or
Mm-hmm.
something. I sold them for like $25. You have to know when you're going to get out of your trade, right? You can't just buy a trade and expect it to, you have to have a plan.
Tesla reported their first Q1 GAAP profit in 2013, May 8, and the stock just skyrocketed, right?
Skyrocketed.
Yeah, it went from 50 up to
Yeah.
100, 150, etc.
So when the stock busted to like 50 or 60, I realized, wow, I think it's going to take off soon. So I sold all my like in the money 40 calls, which are already like a 10xer. And I
Yeah.
used that to buy like 75 strike calls that were shorter dated,
Mm-hmm.
um, and that went up like 50 fold, in the next few months. And so I made a lot of money when it got up to 150-ish. And yeah,
What kind of got into your brain where you're like, whoa, man, this $300 stock could do a 6 or 7 times in the next year?
to me, all the dominoes were lined up just to be like, wow, shorts are going to get out. They're going to realize like this is a game of musical chairs for them. And, you know, lots of more people are going to want to buy. And I also have this interesting theory. I feel like the more deliveries there are, right? Just like when more people bought the Apple iPhone,
Mm-hmm.
then more people were buying the Apple stock, right? And so the more deliveries there are of Teslas, the more retail people, and some of these retail people might be portfolio managers for a big fund or something, who knows? And they're suddenly like, wow, I should buy some Tesla stock. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And so I just thought like this wave or this tide of Tesla was getting more and more likely, and that itch was really strong. And I was like, I'm going to set up this LLC. I'm going to start buying leaps at the start of January 2nd, as soon as I fund the account. And,
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to save like 40% in cash in case Tesla dips, then I'll buy more leaps. I think as you and I had talked over the years, it's really all about the product, right? Like if you
Mm-hmm.
have a superior product, as long as you can build it in some profitable way, you're going to win out. I'm never going to have the type of return I had this year again. I know that. I'll regress to the mean, but I still think my mean over the long term is going to beat the market, by a long shot.